You ever notice how the most dangerous sentence in the English language is, I'll just check my phone real quick? Like, those words have destroyed more productivity than Netflix, pizza, and the entire Marvel franchise combined. Because you don't just check your phone. You open it to look at the time, and suddenly it's 3 a.m., you're on your fifth Wikipedia tab, and you now know everything about penguin mating habits. And the worst part, you don't even really like penguins that much. That's when it happens. That little voice creeps in, the one that goes, what if I had actually done what I said I was going to do tonight? Boom. The weight of what if. Now, what if doesn't usually start big. It's not like, what if I had moved to Italy and become a vineyard owner? No, it's usually small. What if I had started my homework when I said I was going to? What if I hadn't eaten that entire family-sized bag of chips by myself? What if I didn't watch 37 videos on how to fold fitted sheets when I don't even own a fitted sheet? And you would think the small ones are harmless. But no, they snowball. They gain momentum like that single rogue shopping cart with the wobbly wheel, you know the one? It's headed for disaster, and there is nothing you can do. And listen, I am specially qualified to talk about this because procrastination is my toxic superpower. Some people can fly. Some people can breathe underwater. Me, I can waste time with the precision of a Swiss watch. Like, I once made a to-do list that said, make to-do list, and then ticked it off. Felt so productive. Meanwhile, the actual work, still moldering in the corner, crying, Father, why have you forsaken me? And don't even get me started on planners. I bought so many planners that if I stacked them, they'd reach the moon. Do I use them? Of course not. The only thing I ever managed to write in them is start using planner, and then I close it for good. But that's when the what ifs creep in. What if I had only started sooner? What if I weren't this way? What if, and just listen, I was one of those morning persons. You know, those individuals, they wake up at 5 a.m., they lemon water, they meditate for an hour on one leg, they read 3 books before breakfast. Meanwhile, I'm trying to remember if I brushed my teeth last night. And then the spiral gets worse. What if I had chosen a different career path? What if I had been braver in high school? What if I had started a YouTube channel in 2008 instead of not? My mind basically creates this Marvel-esque multiverse. But instead of Spider-Man, it's just me in different outfits. Successful me. Smarter me, French-speaking me. And then there's current me, still in sweatpants from 2 days ago, slurping cold noodles straight from the pot. Here's where it gets ridiculous, because my mind doesn't just imagine a slightly better life. No, it goes full Disney Channel original movie. What if I'd taken piano lessons as a kid? Oh, easy. I'd obviously be a famous concert pianist touring the globe, inspiring millions. What if I'd taken that one internship in college? Right, because clearly that was the fork in the road between me and the presidency. What if I had played on a sports team? Oh, then I'd definitely be in the Olympics by now, gold medal in hand, crying on national TV. Never mind, I get winded walking upstairs. Details. And that's the danger of what if. It makes us compare our real life to an imaginary life in which we always made the correct choice. And imaginary life is clearly more appealing. Imaginary me doesn't have a sore back from sleeping oddly in a chair. Imaginary me flosses nightly. Imaginary me is not Googling, is 3 cups of coffee too much at 11 p.m.? But that's the trick. What if lives in a world that doesn't live? It's like arguing with the GPS in your car about the road you didn't take. It's not productive, and yet it feels heavy. But here's the thing that I've learned, and by learned, I mean read on a motivational Instagram post at 2 a.m., what if doesn't have to be a trap. It can be a hint. Like if I'm always thinking, what if I had written sooner? Maybe the point isn't to cry about it. Maybe it's just to write now. Revolutionary, I know. Or if I'm always thinking, what if I had been braver? Maybe that's my brain saying, hey, bravery's still an option. The waiter hasn't withdrawn it yet. Look, I'm never going to be that perfectly optimized productivity guru. I am never going to wake up at dawn and write my intentions in a leather-bound notebook. If anything, my intentions are jotted on Post-it notes that fall off the wall after 24 hours. But maybe that's okay. Maybe the whole point isn't to kill every what if. Because if you killed them all, you'd never dream. You'd never imagine. And honestly, I need my what ifs. They make life entertaining. Like, what if I finally got abs? That's entertaining. I don't expect to make it happen, but the dream makes pizza taste better. So here's my new plan. Instead of saying, what if I had, I say, what if I still can? What if I still can learn guitar? What if I still can start that side project? What if I still can clean my room? Okay, that last one sounds unlikely, but you get the idea. Because the past is closed, but the present still open. And the future still waiting, probably scrolling TikTok until we get there. So yeah, the weight of what if is real. It can destroy you if you let it, but it can also guide you. It can point to what matters. And if all else fails, remember this, at least you'll always be prepared for quicksand.